It is the Friday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Now that the regular season is over for high school football, I'll be doing Weather Geeks videos Friday evening now. It's been since, third week of August, second week of August, since we've been here on a Friday evening doing an in-depth video. But here we are, and we've got a lot to talk about this evening, but we'll try to keep this video pretty short. My annual winter forecast ended up being about 20 minutes long, the extended version last evening. So, as usual, it was kind of ridiculously long, but I appreciate it if you check that out, and especially if you watch the whole thing. You can watch that, ericwfmj.com. You can check out the short version of the forecast as well, the 3-minute version. You can find that on my Facebook page, on Twitter, on YouTube. No matter where you look, if you know where to find me on social media and on our app and our website, you're going to find what you need as far as the winter forecast goes. Wintry day today, that's for sure. We started out this morning with a 22 at the airport. Got a couple of degrees colder than I thought it would. I think I had a low of 24 in the forecast, so it was definitely a very cold start to the day. And we did have, of course, some problems on the roads this morning. Now, there's been a little bit of a narrative that I've seen today where the slippery roads this morning were a surprise and it was worse than expected and that sort of thing. And you know, that's something we've been talking about for a few days now, that the rain yesterday would leave some wet areas and they wouldn't be able to treat, and then temperatures would crash down into the 20s with some localized small accumulations of snow overnight, and that could be a recipe for slick travel. That came to fruition this morning. Should not have been a surprise to anyone who was paying attention to our forecasts over the last few days. Now, for the second consecutive day, I'm a little bit skeptical of the snow total at the airport. Yesterday, official total at the airport was a half an inch. At no point, I don't think anyone really registered a half an inch worth of snow yesterday. And since midnight last night at the Youngstown Ward Airport, the official observation that's going to go into the record books, 2.5 inches. That seems a little ambitious to me as far as the total goes. Now, there was a zone from Cortland and Newton Falls down to Vienna where an inch to inch and a half, I believe that 2.5 seems a little bit suspicious to me as far as the total. But yeah, it was enough to cover the grass and, again, lead to some slick spots here and there for rush hour this morning. The weather has quieted down this evening. There's still some lingering flurries here and there, no big deal, no impact. And the weather actually across the country from coast to coast is pretty quiet this evening, the exception where our front is now stalling out near the Gulf Coast. Some rain from Florida across I-10 towards New Orleans. Temperatures are cold, of course. This is way below the average for November. A very midwinter-like air mass is in place, and it's going to be a chilly weekend. Now, that being said, if you do need to, let's take off the ticker there. If you do need to rake leaves this weekend or do something outdoors, yeah, you'll need to bundle up, but it's going to be a decent weekend otherwise. There'll be some sun from time to time, especially Saturday afternoon and into Sunday morning as well. Only 40 Saturday, 48 on Sunday. So we can blitz through the weekend forecast pretty quickly because, yeah, there's just not much to talk about over the next couple of days. As high pressure drifts across, I think there'll be some clouds around for a time Saturday morning, but the afternoon should turn fairly bright. And again, with a little bit of a southwesterly flow, we'll at least approach 50 Sunday afternoon. May not make it to 50, but we'll come close. All right, let's talk about the early week system. Veterans Day coming up on Monday. This is an Arctic front, and there's going to be a little ripple of low pressure along this front that's going to slow it down and keep the moisture around as the cooler air is coming in. So I think this will probably start out as rain around midday and then transition into some wet snow probably towards mid to late afternoon into the evening. Now, for a time, kind of like yesterday, this will have a hard time sticking. But as we get into the evening, if the snow continues for a while, not going to be surprised if some of the snow does indeed start to stick. And even if the evening hours are fine, overnight, it's going to be another temperature crash, kind of like we had last night. So Tuesday morning could be tricky. Also, we're going to be dealing with some lake effect, I think, coming up on Tuesday. This is just an early look at the computer models, 3 of them anyway, the European model, the GFS Ensemble, showing maybe by Tuesday morning an inch or 2 on the ground, and then additional snow with the lake effect Tuesday into Tuesday night. And this is just for one location in Vienna, showing an additional couple of inches possible. I think it's going to be possible that several inches of snow could occur late Monday night into Tuesday in our lake effect areas. So think of places like Greenville in Mercer County, Kinsman in Trumbull County, Mesopotamia, maybe down to Newton Falls, heading over towards the northeastern and eastern part of Mercer County, the traditional secondary snow belts of northeast Ohio and western PA. Not going to be surprised if this is a pretty heavy-duty lake effect event, because I'll tell you, this is a serious cold air mass, and the water temperatures on Lake Erie are still in the 50s. The air at the ground level will be in the 20s, and up a couple of thousand feet it'll be in the teens. That's a very, very big difference, and that'll cause extreme instability. So yeah, again, especially north of I-80, we're going to have to watch out for some changeable conditions and slippery travel late Monday night into Tuesday. This is more of a general light, wet snow that will come our way later Monday and into the first half of Monday night. Again, transitioning into lake effect later Monday night into Tuesday. And those temperatures, it's going to be impressive. These are the air temperatures Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. You know, at the airport, we have an official forecast of 16 out right now. That's where our forecast verifies. That's where official observations are taken. Not going to be surprised if some 13s and 14s show up, certainly. Wednesday morning, the record low at the airport Wednesday morning is 17, set in 1986. It's a slam dunk that it's going to stay cold for a while. This is the 6 to 10 day outlook. Now, the longer range does not look warm. It does look a little less cold, though. So while it's probably still on average a chillier than average pattern as we go into the extended period here, 8 to 14 days, I don't think we'll see the kind of harsh cold that we're going to see middle of next week. And then in the really longer range, there's some signs that at the end of November and into December, we're going to see this pattern really modify a fair amount. And I kind of suspect, and I touched on this a bit in my winter forecast, I kind of suspect December is not a very cold month compared to the average. Maybe not as warm as last December, which was quite warm. But it's not going to be surprising to me if December ends up being a warmer than average month after a cold November. This happened last year, too. We had a cold November last year. And then December was very, very ho-hum and hardly any snow. All right, that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching the Friday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll have some updates on the early week situation over the weekend. And, of course, I'll see you back here in the studio on Monday.